Top of the morning to you. It's Thursday, June 12th, and this is Wake Up with KERA News. I'm Andrew Garcia. We're waking up with some rain and storms today, but that should subside by this afternoon sometime, making way for cloudy skies with highs in the low 80s. There is still potential for flooding, though, as storms return overnight and continue through this weekend. The National Weather Service continues to have a flood watch in effect, which means the conditions are right for flooding, though it's not a guarantee as of yet. I'd suggest keeping an eye on the sky and on your phone for weather alerts. Representative Dustin Burrows just completed his first legislative session as Speaker. We'll hear how it went. That's after today's news. Schools across the state are grappling with a soon-to-be new law that bans diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in K-12 public schools. The Dallas School Board will talk about Senate Bill 12 at their meeting this morning. Trustees say they'll update their policies to be in line with the new law, while still trying to meet the needs of DISD students and families. The bill is currently awaiting the governor's signature. A new Dallas Wings practice facility is coming to West Oak Cliff. The City Council approved it to be built on an empty park off North Cockrell Road at their meeting yesterday. The practice space will be open to the community for training, recreation, and competitions. It's expected to be ready in time for the 2026 WNBA season. When the 2025 Texas legislative session kicked off in January, one of the biggest stories was the new Speaker of the State House. Representative Dustin Burrows of Lubbock won the powerful leadership role, despite less than enthusiastic support from his fellow Republicans. So, now that the session has wrapped, the Texas Newsroom's Blaze Gainey reports on how things went.
At the beginning of the session, Representative Dustin Burrows was in for the fight of his life, a face-off with Mansfield Republican David Cook to become House Speaker. Cook was the party favorite.
That one race will determine how our priorities will be treated for the rest of the session.
That's Abraham George, chair of the Texas Republican Party, speaking just days before the Speaker election.
This is such a crucial thing for us to continue to work for the next few days and make sure that we get David Cook elected.
That's not what happened. Burrows won with the bulk of his voters coming from House Democrats. That put Burrows even higher up on his Republican colleagues' naughty list. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who leads the Texas Senate, wasn't too excited about the pick, but by February, Patrick seemed to change his tune.
I can't let some moderates over in the Texas House who have an R in front of their name slow us down from doing things that you want to do and I want to do. And I have faith in our new Speaker that he'll turn them around.
That faith wavered some in March when Patrick commented on the House's slow pace.
Looking realistically at the clock, you start to get concerned in another couple of weeks if some of the major bills aren't moving. But again, until he proves me wrong, I'm supportive.
Just 2 weeks later, though, Burrows had the Texas House take up the two biggest bills of the session.
We are calling it in the House the Texas two-step. Step one, House Bill 2, we're going to make historic investments in public education. And then House Bill 3 is universal school choice for Texas families.
Passing that voucher bill, a long-time priority for Patrick and Governor Greg Abbott, was when things really seemed to move in the positive for the Big Three's relationship, and it kept rolling.
Overall, I think that for Speaker Burrows, it was a very good session.
Sherry Greenberg is a UT Austin professor and former Texas state lawmaker.
Both Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Governor Abbott have stated publicly and in print that they thought they had a very good session that they were quite happy with.
And to be clear, this kind of harmony is unusual in Texas politics nowadays. Burrows' success came as a surprise to some, like Abraham George.
Like you said, much better than the past speakers for you, but if you were...
I wouldn't say much better, I said better.
The Republican Party chairman still had some grievances with Burrows' leadership, including appointing Democrats as committee vice chairs. Republicans didn't want any Democrats in leadership roles.
He got elected by Democrats, and this is one of the reasons why he had to do all those. So next session, we want a speaker who is elected by the Republican caucus.
And of course, George says he wished even more top GOP priorities passed. But as Greenberg says,
life is not perfect, right? Do not let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Another way to evaluate how Burrows did in his first session as Speaker, talk to those across the aisle. On the last day of the session, Democratic Representative Vincent Jones gave a good review to the Texas newsroom.
One thing I appreciate is definitely working across the aisles, working with Democrats, and working to make sure that the needs of our constituents are heard.
Jones says there was still a lot of concerning legislation that passed. House Democratic Caucus Vice Chair Mihaela Plesa says the House-Senate relationship was much less tense this year. Maybe most surprising is the support he's earned from his opponent for Speaker, David Cook.
His political mind is second to none, in my opinion, in the House.
Whether those words of praise from both sides of the aisle will lead to a second term as Speaker for Burrows is unknown. Lubbock GOP Party Chair David Bruegel thinks he's a shoo-in.
I don't think he's just going to try. I think he's going to prevail. Even the people that maybe didn't vote for him in the beginning, a lot of them I think are ready to join the team.
But that view is not shared by State GOP Chairman Abraham George.
I don't think we are going to do that. There's a lot of room to improve, and there's a lot of time to have multiple conversations, which we will have between now and the next session.
Of course, that next session doesn't start until January of 2027, and in Texas politics, a lot can change between now and then.
That was the Texas Newsroom's Blaise Gainey reporting. Despite a stunning 35-point performance from rookie Paige Bueckers, the Dallas Wings lost last night's game by double digits against the Phoenix Mercury 93-80. The Wings have seen a variety of strong individual performances on any given night, but they can't seem to put together a cohesive enough team effort to win games. The team's guard Ty Harris had a successful knee surgery earlier this week and is expected to make a full recovery, but that means she'll be out for the remainder of the season. Here's to hoping she has a strong recovery. The Importance of Being Earnest is currently screening at the Samuel Grand Amphitheater. You can witness the love stories and mishaps of two guys who take on the identity of a fictional man called Ernest. Find more information and other fun things to do around North Texas by visiting our Go See DFW calendar at KERA.org/calendar. Thanks so much for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. This show is produced and edited by Shardae White and Bekah Morr. For more news in your inbox, visit KERA.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and get good morning vibes from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KERATX. Stay dry out there. We'll see you tomorrow.